Hello, and we say a fantastic day to each and every one of you. We are the Pleiadian Council, and we speak on behalf of the Galactic Alliance supporting your world in a process many of you call ascension. It is a literal shift between one dimension of reality to another, as your consciousness comes to return onto the one source. We thank you for allowing this transmission to take place, for it is a gift to us in the same way it is a gift to you. It is a co-creation. It is a way that we are both using each other as reflective mirrors to amplify our own experience of self-awareness and awareness of the all that is. So, with gratitude, we greet you. Your world is going through a wondrous process of transformation. It may not always seem wondrous, though we want to assure you that it very much is. As you move through layers of healing, the pain of the past on your planet is brought to the surface in both individual and collective ways. You can come to see your own struggles as ways that you have internalized the story of your planet and the many archetypes and lessons that you as humanity have to learn. The core of these understandings have to do with self-empowerment at this time. You've been conditioned with myths, and the greatest of these myths is the story of a God who is outside of you and beyond you in heaven or somewhere far away. And this externalization of your power is the source of your disconnection from Source. You are Source, and you've always been Source. Source, we would describe as an undifferentiated consciousness that was all that existed at a time. And we say that word loosely because it is, in a sense, symbolic. For Source, there is no time. But there is nonetheless a before and an after. And before, Source had no sense of self. Source was everything, but everything did not know self. In order to know self, Source created all that is. All that is includes non-physical dimensions above your dimension that you're intertwined with, and also includes physical reality, which you inhabit. And Source created all that is, for in differentiating itself into an infinite amount of individual yet elaborately interconnected beings, through each of those beings, Source had a different perspective and a different experience of itself. And this, therefore, is the purpose of your existence. It is to be yourself and to develop that self-awareness so Source can see through your eyes and experience through your body and feel through your feelings. That is why you've come here. So that you can awaken and realize that you are Source and you've never been disconnected from that Source. The way that you do that is unique. The way that you do that is up to you. We offer to you a formula, and we are not the only to share this formula. For many other beings like ourselves share this teaching, and many other spiritual paths in your world teach seemingly different, but ultimately same at their essence teachings. The way that we put this to words is act upon your own highest excitement to the best of your ability without insisting on a particular outcome. This is 3 distinct parts that are, of course, interconnected. To act on your highest excitement, you can replace that word excitement with love, passion, joy, bliss. The words point to an experience that comes through your heart center. In your heart, you are connected to the source, and that feeling of love and openness is source intuitively guiding you to that which is essentially for you. It is guiding you to what will help you immerse yourself in these frequencies of unconditional love. For again, source's choice to manifest all that is was done with love. And beings in these dimensions were given the gift of choice so that they may be able to experience, to move in the direction of source and love, or to move in the direction of fear. Though as you return on to source, it is love that brings you there, and it is love that will awaken pathways of synchronicity to show you the interconnectedness of everything that is. The second part is to act on your passion to the best of your ability. And this means to use all of your inner and outer resources as best you can with an attitude of persistence and possibility, to recognize that if there is a will, there is a way. To recognize that the tools exist within you, and if they don't, you can find people and resources outside of you to let your passion manifest. Oftentimes, you take a path of staying small. You choose a path of the easy route. And we want to tell you that the easy route is not the path of least resistance. The easy route is the path of resisting your calling. Energy does follow the path of least resistance. Least resistance, in this case, means the least resistance to that calling of your heart. And so doing things to the best of your ability means that you prioritize more than anything else what your heart calls you to. The last part is to let go of insistence on particular outcomes. In some mystical traditions, this is called having non-attachment to your desires, or it is called surrendering to the grace of the divine. And this means that you recognize that those things you want are in a sense symbolic representations of your connection to source. That what you're really seeking is that deeper connection with source. And while you may want specific things to show up in your life, when you let go and you allow yourself to be in a state of appreciation and gratitude regardless of whether or not they show up for you, you maintain that connection to source in the clearest and smoothest way. When you choose to do this, everything in your life will come into place. Part of this is also being open to integrate lessons. Sometimes you don't get what you're seeking, but you get a lesson. This lesson is designed to help you do things a different way so that you will be able to come closer to your core intent. So, doing things to the best of your ability also means that you open your eyes to what you are being shown and taught by the universe so that wisdom becomes integrated in your being. When you do this, endless synchronicity will flow through you. You will know what you need to know when you need to know it. The signs will all lead you in the direction that you wish to go. And when you get to a dead end, you will recognize that other pathways are available to you. following your highest excitement means that you may be led down many directions, and having no insistence on the outcome means that when you see a fork in the road that feels more exciting than your initial destination, that you don't insist on following the original path and you bravely step forward onto a new path. This is often how your life will work. You may be drawn somewhere because you think something wondrous will happen, but instead you get different information, different feedback that sends you in an entirely new direction. And by opening and surrendering to that, grand and wondrous new opportunities may naturally come to you. Your world is going through vast and wonderful transformation, even though on the surface it may seem sometimes difficult. In the times to come, the truth about many secrets that some of your governments have known is to be revealed. In times to come, the technologies that are already on your planet will accelerate rapidly to demonstrate a new understanding of what intelligence is and means. In the times to come, you will come to see that the ways you have set up your society generate stress and disconnection, and you will find that the remedy has always been within your heart. And oh yes, these changes will cause you to reevaluate everything. And it is being in that beginner's mind, that acceptance of uncertainty, that willingness to adapt, that you will be most equipped for these times, and you will be a leader, a way shower for others to be able to intuitively understand this formula. We hope that these words ring true for you and resonate with a deep knowing. We hope that this seems somehow second nature, as it ought to be. As in the depth of your heart, all of you know this to be a truth. And by hearing it spoken, you can tap into remembrance of what has always been within you at a core level. This knowledge of source, this knowledge of your essential nature, and the energetic mechanics of returning onto that higher vibration for the purpose of knowing yourself and being yourself. For that is your purpose here. We thank you for allowing us to share this information at this particular time, and in return we would ask, in which ways can we support you with your specific questions of a personal nature, of a collective nature, of any nature that suits you according to your own passion today?
I have a question.
All right.
I am feeling very lost, very up in the air regarding my career path, regarding my next step. I've been suggested to do multiple different things that I know are well within reach, if I just go for them. And I very much would like to know what way I could best help myself, also by helping others, also by creating the future that...
Well, what are you most excited about?
I'm really excited about helping others. I like to see, I've recently been given examples of helping people one-on-one, but also helping large groups of people simultaneously at once.
And would you like to do this more?
Yeah, I would. Really would.
Then what's stopping you?
Well, we have this silly thing called money that gets in the way of a lot of things, and I think it's more of a distraction to me than it is a means to an end or a tool.
All right. Though, if you can help people, can you not receive in return for that help?
It is possible, but it's the Rubik's Cube of the puzzle.
Elaborate.
It's knowing which opportunities to follow and which ones to pass over.
All right. You have to define this for yourself. The universe is responding to your intentions and your definitions. So, first of all, become very clear as to what you want without limitations. You first want to go beyond the limitations. Don't put yourself in the boxes that you think are in place because of society, because of capitalism, because of your country, because of everything, and go outside of the box, beyond the scope of what you consider possible, into an idealistic view of yourself and of reality. In that case, what is really possible? What would you like to do more than anything? What would light your heart up more than anything? Now find that, and then play with reality. Find what you would like without limitations, and then give it a test within the limitations. And through a process of trial and error, you will find which limitations are real and which limitations are imagined. Limitations are not a bad thing. They allow you to create structure in your life. However, the issue that many of you run into is that you project that there is more red tape and limitations than you actually have before you. And by projecting these limitations and making yourself feel very constrained by what is and how your world works, you don't allow yourself to go as deep or as far out as you would like to go, and then you put yourself in a box that didn't need to be there in the first place. So you have to be able to imagine and go beyond the limitations, and then see how your vision can fit within the limitations that are actually there. Don't imagine more limitations for yourself than actually exist. Actually imagine that the limitations are gone, and then as you play with life, you will see the ways that your limitations allow you to form solid structures in healthy ways.
If one isn't only child versus having siblings, is the only child like the wholeness of the parent's mind contained in one, whereas the siblings you have like the whole divided in parts, or is it more autonomous than that? Like, is it like you're all working towards completing that evolution of thought as a part versus a whole? Do the siblings make up a whole, or is each one its own wholeness? That makes sense.
The family unit is a complete unit, though each individual within it is a complete unit and system. And within each individual, there's internalized systems of the archetypes and stories inherited from the family. So,
why have one versus many, maybe is my question.
Why have one versus many? Everybody will have their own soul contracts. Many of the choices are not made consciously. The experience of many allows for more points of reference and experiences of interconnection. It allows for more dynamic energies, and allows for children to have a better experience of relating and sharing. Sometimes those in big families have poorly defined boundaries because they experience so much blending of energies. On the flip side, sometimes those who don't have siblings experience boundaries that are too well defined and often will become more self-absorbed. So both experiences have benefits and both experiences have limitations, as do all of the contrasts that you experience in your world.
Is there anything else I need to be doing for my healing currently?
Are you following your excitement
Yes.
to the best of your ability
Yes.
without insisting on outcomes
Yes. Definitely don't know the outcome.
all of the time?
Sometimes I get tired.
That's okay. You can be tired. That can be a very loving thing to do, to rest. Is there something that you would love to do that you're not doing?
Too many things.
Then that's what's missing. Because remember, it isn't just excitement, it's your highest excitement. It's what excites you more than anything else.
There's so many.
All right, then choose them one by one and examine why you might not be giving them to yourself. Is it a fear of risk? Is it a fear of loss? Is it a fear of too much being seen or too much pushing the boundaries of what others consider possible or good? So again comes this theme of not looking outside for the reference and the permission. Because outside does not give you permission. Outside gives you red tape. Outside gives you paperwork. Outside gives you comparison. Outside gives you keeping up with the Joneses and the Jetsons. But that's not what is going to help you. That's not what's going to help you connect with Source. So you have to become your own confidant, your own inspiration, and your own role model, and your own teacher. Allow yourself to choose for you. Allow yourself to make your own definitions of what's possible and what's acceptable. Oftentimes, you are afraid of jumping far too ahead of others, but that's exactly what you have to do. There's a game you play as children called Leapfrog. One person jumps in front of the other. And this is the game that you must learn to play with your peers. You must learn to make it okay that other people sometimes experience jealousy, and instead of judging that, have compassion for that, and celebrate that as an experience of knowing what one is wanting, but believing it's not possible. That's all that jealousy is. It's knowing what one is wanting, but believing it's not possible, and getting frustrated with the mere reflection that is shown to oneself. And in order for your world to change, you will have to show up with a mirror that makes people uncomfortable sometimes. Somebody else? Somebody new? Going once? Going twice? Then anybody is permitted.
If language is a gift from the divine and the vowels represent the light, is there a hierarchy in terms of purity or aspirations for the vowels? Like A, E, I, or U?
No, there's no hierarchy in sound. Spectrums are innate. Hierarchy is a human construct. Hierarchy is the human definition of what a spectrum between high vibration and dense vibration, or light and dark, means. It's the meaning you assign to energy and energy spectrums.
What is the most efficient method of letting go of that which no longer serves us from past trauma?
Redefine what letting go means.
Hang-ups,
No.
ideas that...
No, that is the answer. We're saying you have to redefine your understanding of letting go. Are you letting go of a memory? Are you letting go of a pattern? Ultimately, no. What you must let go of is a definition, an attitude, and resistance. So, you can't defeat a negative belief within yourself. You can only accept the experience of it and recognize that that belief is a living form of energy with its own will and volition. Treating it as such, you will be able to relate to it as a tenant rather than something that is part of your core essence, because it is not that. So relating to these beliefs as inner tenants is a way that you can come to get to know them and come to be curious about them. The idea of letting go means that you're attempting to kick out your tenants, when ultimately you would benefit more from getting them to pay more rent, you see. So allow yourself to compassionately relate to your inner belief systems and understand what their purpose is. All of your beliefs are there because you believe at a certain level that they serve you. And the beliefs are self-fulfilling prophecies that point to the fact that they serve you. So you have to develop an attitude of compassion and use your inner and outer witnessing perspectives to gain a point of elevation where you might see that there's evidence to suggest the negative beliefs aren't true, and that a more positive and unifying belief system is more helpful and more truthful. When you can integrate that, the negative belief systems and the heavy emotions associated with them will lighten up and loosen up, and the same energy patterns that you might call a trauma will start to work for you rather than messing up your complex, so to speak. Does that make sense? All right. So, nothing really needs to be let go of in that sense. You need to loosen your resistance because your nature is unconditional love. When you are in a state of resistance, you think you're just resisting pain. But when you're in a state of resistance, you're actually resisting everything. The same tension that might seem as if blocks pain is also blocking love. So if you let go of anything, just let go of resistance. When you let yourself feel more of the pain, more of the trauma, more of what's inside, it will naturally shift into its higher vibrational expression. That same energy pattern will go from a dense vibration to a higher, more subtle vibration. The same thing that hurts you will come to serve you when you let go of your resistance. Any final questions?
So if the planets, the ones with the halos, are the ascended or the higher aspects, is love the higher form of pain in a way? Equal and opposite?
We didn't understand.
Some planets have the rings around them.
Yes.
Those are the halos or the coronas, the like ascended planets. And I've heard that there's some like I think well, they're like two of them are higher aspects of lower ones, so they like work in tandem. Is it the same within? Because you talked about taking pain and lightening it into love or like its higher form.
The rings represent boundaries. They represent protection, and they represent stability. The ring creates a circular field that acts much like your aura does when you are coming into an aligned state with clear definitions of who you are and what you're available for and what you're not. So Saturn is representing your boundaries with others and with yourself. When you create your definitions of what you're really available for, it allows you to create this sort of protective shield that pulls in what serves you and what fulfills your intention and repels what does not. Is pain a form of love? Everything is a form of love because the core intention of Source is unconditional love. And therefore, everything in this universe is an expression of unconditional love, even if it looks like pain. Because Source is, again, giving every being the gift of free will in this particular dimension. Free will is a gift of love because free will allows you to take a different pathway. There's no energy that exists that is not an embodiment of love. But some of these dense energies are distortions of love. It is love that is inverted and turned onto itself. And that's why when you become present with pain, it can transform into love. When you are present with pain, you are allowing that stuck energy that is distorted to gradually become clarified. All right. We invite you to close your eyes and follow us through a wondrous meditation. Imagine yourself seated against a wonderful tree in nature. It's your favorite kind of tree, and it's a dusk evening. You're sitting before a vast opening in a field and gazing at the night sky. You see lights on the horizon, and the lights flow towards you. As they approach, you see that they are saucer-like, and they land in front of you. And stepping down from these beautiful saucers are friendly beings that actually appear very similar to you. While they come from far away, you might notice that they're not so different from humans, actually. These beings invite you onto their ship, and a staircase emerges. From the ship, a bright, bright light emerges. They hold your hand, and if you choose, you may walk up towards the light. If you don't choose, you can go into nature and sit with the trees. As you walk up this beautiful staircase, the light becomes brighter and brighter and brighter until you're surrounded by nothing but clear white light. And gradually, the light fades and becomes dimmer and dimmer, and you find yourself in a room with many gadgets. In the center of the room, there's a very comfy bed. You may lay down on the bed. You can even lay down if you find the right space now. In this room, wherever you wish. The surface of the bed is made of crystals, and lights shine through the crystals. A massive quartz crystal comes above your body and begins to send a beam of light into your being. Now the quartz crystal moves down your body from the crown of your head, sending this beam of light to all of your chakras from the front of your body. It slowly moves down your body, down your face, down your neck, down your heart, stomach, and all the way to your feet. And then it moves up slowly, sending in another wave of light. This crystal moves up and down, and you might feel these waves of energy moving up and down in your own body. Now the crystal moves and is replaced by a sort of camera. Not like the ones in your world, a bit different. It's a camera that doesn't look to the outside, but looks to the inner vibrations of your body. And just like this crystal, the camera now moves up and down your body. And as it does, the camera's looking towards places within you, where there's tension, where there's stories, where there's resistances. You might feel these places in your body. Witness them, allow them. Now the camera disappears. And in the ceiling of this wonderful room, you see a screen that shows you your inner energetic body. A map of what's within you. All of these places within yourself that you just witnessed are played out in front of you in this map. Perhaps symbolically, perhaps with different colors. You can look up and down the map. And as you notice these symbols, these colors, these stories, simply observe and notice. What does this mean to me? What is this map showing me? Slowly the screen disappears. And your visiting friends, before you leave, place in your hand a key and a quill. The key represents your ability to unlock whatever doorways within you that you believe to be closed. The key represents your willingness to change. The pen, or the quill, represents your ability to write stories anew. Your quill represents your creative power, showing you that all of these energy patterns you've witnessed are nothing more than stories. And just as the stories have been written once, you have the power to write new stories again. Walk down from the ship with greater self-awareness, greater creative power, and openness. And as you begin to walk down that staircase again, you find yourself back in that familiar place in nature. Wrap your arms around the tree that you sat against initially. And let this cosmic energy return onto your earth connection. Knowing in a deep way that your cosmic friends are always there, and that they can act as mirrors for you, to come to see you more clearly and know yourself more clearly. And that is all you need to do. Our great thanks and love for you for co-creating this interaction, this transmission, and for participating in this meditation in this way. We love you very much, and we wish you a fantastic rest of your day then.